Morning, everyone. Welcome to our Sunday gathering at Namaste Lake Chapala. As always, such a beautiful honor and privilege to be able to open together, to join together, to see that we are always together, and to finally realize that the heat that comes from that joining, the heat that's generated when we choose to see that we are one. What other reason could there be to come together? And we've been talking about that joining for weeks now, how important it is for us to just simply join, to come together, to radiate this light and this heat, and in doing so, to transform the whole world. Last week, we shared how important it is for us to realize that we are together in this. There are no teachers and students, that we are together in this. We inspire one another. I hope that once in a while you're inspired by something that comes from these lips, just as I'm always very inspired that from many things that come from all of you. And that's what this joining is all about. It's about feeling that heat, generating that heat, and not letting it dissipate. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, is the way that we allow this heat to dissipate in our lives. And this week, we are going to be focused on one word. All week long, we're going to be sort of hovering around one word. I'll tell you what that word is in just a moment. But it's this one word that allows this heat and this fire to continue to build until it burns away everything we no longer need. So I'm going to jump right into our lesson for the day, and you'll hear in just a moment what this word is that we're going to be circling around. It says, for the next week, we will focus our attention on a key to harnessing the heat you need to burn away the cords that you've wrapped around your true self and step into the light of the real world. This is one of the great keys. We've spoken of this heat many times before. The fire, I am, which ignites, inspires, and increases the fire within you. Though until now, you've chosen to dampen its heat by removing the fuel that allows it to burn bright. And what is this fuel? Silence. That's the word we're going to circle around all week. Silence. The fuel that allows us to burn bright. So, you've all heard the phrase, be still and know that I am God. You must still your mind and close your mouth if you're going to give the fire the chance to build and to burn away all the strange illusions that you've chosen to accept. So imagine you're sitting in a sauna. Imagine you're sitting in a sauna, feeling the heat penetrate your body, helping you relax and remember the reality we share. What do you think would happen if you kept opening the door over and over? The heat would leave the sauna, and the fire that you would need to rebuild its healing power would dissipate. That's a great analogy. I'm going to pause there for just one moment. Imagine, if you would, that you're in a beautiful sauna. You're sitting there and you're feeling the heat, but if you just kept opening that door over and over, just left it open, it would lose its potency. And all we're saying here is it's time to claim that potency. It's time to allow that heat to penetrate. That's what you want when you're in a sauna. You want the heat to penetrate your body so that it can go deep within. And it's the same with this fire. But we need to hold still. We need to shut it. I guess maybe one of the reasons why this lesson is important to me this week is because this is a lesson that I am learning, that I need to learn. Here I am in my anchor hold, and I find myself busied by so many things, just as I would if I was not in this anchor hold. Phone calls, emails, lessons, classes, songs, all wonderful, all very beautiful in their own way. But I'm feeling that it's like that door of the sauna. It keeps opening and closing, opening and closing. And every time it does, the heat dissipates. And the one thing that I do know from my time here thus far, just over a week, is that I want that heat to build. I want it to penetrate. So those words, be still and know I am God, become so important to me because I want that. It's the only thing I want. It's the only thing that I desire, and that desire is building within me. But every time I get distracted or pulled away, well, you know. So that's why we're going to focus on this all week long. And I'm sure that we can all find ways to do this. One of the things that we said very early on when I announced that I would be taking this Anchorite year is that each one of us would find some small way that we could do the same. And maybe that small way is just to take an hour where you can sit in silence, or even a half hour. You can sit in your own enclosure, your room, wherever it may be, and just be still and know I am God. Feel the penetrating silence, just like that penetrating heat of a sauna. You don't need to do anything but that. And you will know and you will feel. But if we keep talking, it's hard to build up enough heat and energy to penetrate. Okay, let me read on. This is what happens when you constantly speak or let meaningless sounds distract you, instead of holding still and letting silence guard the fire within. I like that line, to allow silence to guard the fire within. Do you see that most words you speak are meant to distract you from this silence? You assert what you think is true instead of allowing the truth to be revealed through the fire, I am. This is a very important sentence. Let me read it again. You assert what you think is true instead of allowing the truth to be revealed through the fire that I am and that we share. So let this day be a day for holding still within the heat of my love. Let it build within you today, and you'll begin to realize something that you've denied until now. And here it is, that the heat I am sharing is the very fire you are now and forever, if only you would claim it. So we're going to shut that sauna door today. At least I am. I'm going to do my best to stay in this silence today, to allow it to penetrate. And silence comes in many forms, doesn't it? Some people say that they're going to be silent, but then they spend their time texting people or sending emails or even thinking, because it's really about our thoughts. We have to guard our thoughts just as much as we do our mouth. And just allow the fire to claim us. It's just another way of saying, allow love to claim you, because the more you go into this silence, the more you realize, I am that very love. I am that fire. But we need to, at the very least, set time aside every day. I know that there are certain things that I do need to do or to accomplish while I'm here. I would love it if, well, it would be challenging, but I would love it if I could just hold still 24 hours a day, even in my anchor hold. But I can carve out those times and make this the priority, because my awakening is my only priority. My opening to this grace is my only priority. It's the only thing I want. Otherwise, why would I be here? And you can say the same thing yourself. Why would you be here? You're not here to distract yourself. You're here to dive into grace itself and to allow it to transform you completely. And we do that by joining, as we've been saying, but we also do that by keeping that sauna door shut. So I'm going to reach out and find Vicky here. I think Vicky is with us. Vicky, are you there?
I'm right here, Jimmy.
Good morning or good afternoon to you, Vicky.
Good morning, Jimmy. And your song "Only Love" was wonderful. And yesterday on the broadcast for Shift Network with St. Francis, it was really just wonderful. I think it was so open that anyone, it had no space for alienating anyone, but just that warmth that brought everyone in. And thank you for doing that so articulately and so lovingly.
Oh, thank you.
But I love this today because that's been my life for many years. I haven't done so well at it, but I'm learning.
Wednesday or
learning in the midst of the market and life and whatever, to hold that silence, because that silence is nothing but this spacious listening and being present. And when we're with a brother and we are joined, rather than just like you said, the natural thing or the ego's natural stance is to assert, to present its own case, whatever the situation might be, rather than really speak only by inspiration and act only by inspiration. So these are things I'm really focusing on already. So I appreciate today's emphasis on it, because that's the only way we can come into a life that is revealed to us and not negotiated by us. And that time is over. And if we let our joining be one of listening Christ ears, listening for the sound of love, listening for the Christ, and holding our answers back. And I'm especially a big fix-it person. I can fix lots of things. And I'm really paying attention not to fix and to not run that assertive program, but to really be quiet, listen, and wait for the inspiration that is that fire of love expressing. That's all it is, as well as the action. No running for solutions. Where am I going next? What am I doing here with that, this or that? Just be where I am, because silence is a state of consciousness of mind, no matter what seems to be around us. So living and speaking by inspiration only is my goal. Like, that's it. And short and simple.
That's the key, isn't it? I mean, obviously we do need to talk. We can't just live our lives mute, but to keep it simple, not just to go on and on and on. I used to say that I'm a member of a 12-step program. It's called On and On and On. And sometimes we just like to hear ourselves talk, and it's just really us distracting ourselves from the silence where we find the real answer, or where we feel the heat of that fire. And that's why, just watching myself back here and needing the distraction, wanting to have something that pulls me away from the silence, and then also noticing what that does to me, noticing that it makes me feel uneasy. And yet when I'm just in that place of adoration, and I'm in that quiet place where I've shut this up and I'm listening, not only through my ears, but through my soul, to that still quiet voice that's always trying to speak to us, but which we can't hear if we're always babbling on. So this is going to be a good lesson for all of us this week, just to just pay attention. It's not to beat yourself up every time you talk or to judge yourself at all, but just to pay attention. Like I'm talking, I should just be quiet. It's time for me to be quiet. And if I pay attention, we all pay attention. Oh, there's Teddy. Then we can all gain so much. Teddy, would you like to share anything about this?
Being quiet.
Yeah, silence.
You're being so quiet.
Not assertive,
Well, what I find is always good is just answer questions. Speak when spoken to, and You know, if you have an idea that fits, share it. If not, you don't want to make the wave so much. So, you know, when people ask me questions, I tend to give answers, and my answers, according to Vicky, use words that need to be looked up in the dictionary half the time. So that's not always best. But really, simple is best. If you could say something in 2 lines and say it real succinctly, you know, that's really it. And